If you look up Spaghetti Factory in the dash, you're going to get a picture of the dictionary. Or is it the other way around? Anyway, what we have here in front of us is an absolute nightmare. This is a fire waiting to happen. Like, check this out. This used to be, I think, what they call a turn signal flasher, or a flasher for turn signals. And this is just dangling up inside, waiting for a dead short. Just, you know, wires dangling here, stuff just every which way, crimped on connectors that weren't crimped properly. There's all kinds of stuff in here. There's no sense trying to figure this out. This isn't a very complicated wiring system for this car as compared to what we drive these days. I do have a schematic for this car, which is going to help us tremendously. So thanks, Matt, for sending us that manual, the shop manual. I'll show you. Okay, so here's a schematic that I basically acquired from the manual. I took a picture of the one in the manual, pasted it into Word, and then printed as a 4-page poster, just so I could read it easier. Post this up on the wall, put it up on your screen. It's not too bad. I went through, familiarized myself with everything. Mainly the terminals on the switches. I had to figure out what went where for that. But it's not too bad. I've worked with more complicated systems. This shouldn't take too long to figure out. So just put this in a safe place. What we're going to do today is strip this dash down to just the dash housings, the part of the main dash area, so we can get it mounted into the car and figure out if anything's changed. Because if you remember, we laid the windshield back, and that little bit, it could affect something. So I want to find out what that something is. Welcome to Envision Prototypes. I'm Nick if you're new to our channel. And well, let's get into this. This has a fake clock in it, as well as a speaker that we're not going to use. It's got a tear in it, and it doesn't belong to this dash. Somebody used a piece of plywood and some wood screws to screw it in place. So we're not going to use this one. What we are going to keep is this radio. And once I kind of get this untangled, we're going to roll it over. And I'm going to show you how this AM only band radio works. And for you young people, this is a smart radio. Yeah. Believe me when I tell you, you can preset your stations and it'll remember where to move the dial when you press the button. Yeah, smart. So we'll show you that. And like I said, I just want to put these gauges away in a safe spot so they don't get damaged or anything splattered, like spark splattered onto the lenses, because they all work. Everything works. It's just a matter of cleaning this up. Okay. Where to start? Like, check this out. That, you can see, didn't hold. Where do we start? Side cutters. We've got grounds here that, I think that's a ground. It looks like a ground that got very, very hot. It really melted. Don't know if you guys can see that. So, like I said, it's garbage. Snippy, snippy. Now what I'm doing is I'm leaving a little bit, I don't know if it's going to help or not, like lights like this. I'm trying to keep enough length on them so that we can reuse them, because they only fit into these small sockets. If we try aftermarket LEDs, the LED will screw in, but the socket, I need to keep that. And I'm leaving a bit of a pigtail on the switch area. Holy smokes. Yeah, the original wiring is actually breaking up. Let's get you in on this side so you can actually see what the heck I'm talking about. So there's this cloth kind of wire here. I don't know how, and it's cracking. You see, it's exposed wire, and that's not good. That's, you know, not good at all. This is a speedometer. Nope, this is a heater control. And here, this is the speedometer cable. I obviously can't cut that. Radio wise, whoa, that's the speaker wire. Yee. Speaker's wire. Let's cut it right where the junction is. A tape job there. That's garbage. This radio cut there. I don't only cut metal, I cut wire. Chop, chop. I really apologize to the purists, but if you've ever experienced wire melting, there's not much you can do to stop it unless you disconnect the battery fast enough. Okay, so that's the radio and the various knobs and dials to operate the functions within the car. So this is your headlights, low and high beam, your panel lights, which are these ones here, as well as your dome light. Lighter, right? It's been used too. So for you young people, you take and push that in, let the element heat up. When it gets hot enough, it pops out, and you can go ahead and light whatever you want to light. I think we're going to take and retrofit that with something else. I'm not a smoker. The only smoking I do is in the shop here when I'm plasma cutting. So we'll leave that alone because that is the knob that stays with this. If we put some other weird knob in there, it'll be obvious that it does something else. You got your wipers and you have your map dome light. Yeah, map dome. So map light, dome light. You have your radio, but I'll get to that later. Let's put this aside. I want to keep cutting up the wires. This area down here, that was your cowl vent. We're keeping that. There's ashtray. But I'm digressing. We're supposed to be working on wiring. Ay, ay, ay. Now, I'm not going to throw this wire out because I've marked certain things that go in certain places. So it might help us reference stuff later. But until later comes, oil pressure. Like this is the way it was inside the car. It's just, I pulled it out and put it into storage until we could get to this. Lights. Lights, lights, lights. I don't want to cut the wrong things. And this car ran with a generator. You saw it at the front of the car, probably another video. We're gonna install an alternator. I'm not a huge fan of generators. We've come a long way in charging systems. Now, like I mentioned, we have lights like this, and if I chop off the wire right next to the socket, literally screwed. So I want to get as much length, ooh, here we are, on it as possible. Unplug all of them. They all come to a common point, which is a good thing. They all go to the ignition switch. I'm going to wire this car for you guys, not in today's episode. There. So this is something we see the light bulbs just popping right out. But we can replace the light bulb, that's not a problem. It's the sockets that we need to keep. So as I was saying, I'm going to wire this car for you. We'll do an episode on wiring. You might find it helpful, you might not. Some heavy gauge wire, and it's okay. And that just simply unplugs. Let's leave that plugged in. The color, if it's correct, will help me in identifying things if I run into issues later on. This is a workout in itself. More lights, more lights. Okay, here we go. Ooh, somebody's trimmed this one up awfully close. And it has the original insulation, so I'm not sure what's going to happen with that. Over something silly like that, I don't want to lose the car. Boy, light bulbs are just falling out. The bulbs themselves, you know? This is, like I said, oil pressure. We can't cut that. We can trim up some of this. Nice. Trim. There we go. Now these were your temperature heater and defroster. So we can keep all that. Wire that back in. Temperature is hot and cold. And let's cut off this. See, it's actually breaking off the terminal. I didn't pull on it. Well, I did now, but stuff like that, just can't trust. So there's a bunch of wire that ran to the back of the car, hence the extra length coiled up here for the fuel level in the tank, the sensor, as well as the tail lights. Like I said, none of it is going to be used, but right now it's going to be stored and kept as a reference for later. I'm going to put this aside and ignition switch. There we have it. So obviously it works because we drove the car. And there's another, oh boy, see, that was broken off. A little idiot, sorry, indicator light for your ignition switch. It illuminated the area around there. So there's just enough length to hook into another wire. And no, I didn't cut that one. Okay, the backs of these gauges, they're held in with a Phillips screw and a nut, I guess. Yeah. That's odd. Ah. So the bracket is held in, the half or crescent moon bracket is held in with Phillips screws, and we have nuts. I've got to find a nut driver, back those out, and then these gauges will actually pop right out. Let's back this out. Tag team, except my fingers won't have the power to drive those nuts, which is fine because I'm going to support the gauge from falling out, rolling off the table, and what's going on? Hitting the floor. Uh-oh. Okay. Perhaps we can take this off. Perhaps not. Oop. Here we go. Speedometer, 120 miles per hour. And down here, we have a tripometer reset. So this extra little cable down here will reset your, if I turn it the right way, there. That'll reset your trip, 0000. So this is all going to be cleaned up. I don't know if it'll polish it. I will take the gauges all apart. This is built at a time when you could actually service everything. You can leave that, oh, the nut. Put the nut on here. This nut stayed behind with a stud, so that's not going to go anywhere. Sometimes wiring scares people. Yeah, you can get a bit anxious. Automotive wiring. When it comes to other wiring, house wiring, if you're not experienced, don't play with it. You wire up something wrong in your house, you'll burn your house down. You can play around with plumbing, you'll get a flood. Fire, that's a whole different animal. Okay, and we have all of our gauges. They all work. We have an amp gauge here, fuel, oil, and temperature. Now the whole thing is with the amp, we can't run an alternator through it because that can cause a fire. Too much amperage. I'm going to see if I can retrofit the ammeter with a voltmeter. That looks appropriate. We'll see. Or we'll just leave it there. I don't know. We'll see. So, and again, this is kind of pitted, so we're going to have to clean up the gauges. But this is what I'm after right here. We should take off the parking brake handle so it doesn't dangle in our way. Something, I don't even know if we can. Looks like somebody was grinding in there. Let's get an awl. See if we can. No. It looks like a pin that's been driven in. Strange. No real good way to disassemble it. I think that you take the handle off and then back it out the back way here. That's your push button selector for the transmission, if you guys aren't familiar with our video so far. This car doesn't have a lever or a handle. It has push buttons for your transmission. Again, that's to the young people out there. I don't know. I may have to... It looks like a pin that gets driven in. Don't know. It's oily, greasy. Very strange. Okay, we'll leave that for now. It's not going to be an issue. The main thing was to protect the gauges. Now, I don't want to get, oops, what am I doing? I don't want to get bodywork dust into these areas here, so I'm going to remove the lights. Bag and tag all this. Wowza. That's your brake light. I think it says brake on there, but it's kind of faded, yeah. From the inside, brake, and it glows brake. So I do not want to break this part because it's very old and it's original. We're going to clean it very gently and restore it back. So let's put this over here. There, get some bags. Turn signals, same thing. Little tiny arrows, really cute. Too small. Okay, so we're going to put this, oh, another screw. We can leave those. The speaker, take your pick at what screw you want. Flat, bolt, Robertson. Robertson's Canadian, for those who don't know. And Phillips, where'd you go? Here. You guys tried to steal that on me, didn't you? Let's see if we can put a clock in here instead of this button. Come on. There we go. I'm going to reassemble it. That's the safest way to keep everything together. Just put the screws back to where they found them. Because 3 months later, a year later, or whatever you go to reassemble things, you're going to forget, no matter how many pictures you've taken. And that's one thing. I didn't take any pictures. Darn. I guess I have to watch my own video. If a picture's worth 1,000 words, what's a video worth? All right. Oh, this screw. Put that there. So let's just go with the flat and take this whole board out. Delco Electronics. Quality speakers. The glove box was created using a windshield washer jug, if you will. You know, the ones you buy at Canadian Tire or wherever. There we go. We're going to get the proper thing done up, form up a new bracket out of metal, and not use this wooden thing. Garbage. And we got the mesh for the speaker that's going to fall out if we leave it in place. So just take that out. Ta-da. Put that aside. I have never seen a Phillips screw head split. I don't know if you guys can see that. The split is at 12 o'clock. The screw actually split. Probably a manufacturing defect. So these pieces are die cast, I'm guessing, or cast aluminum. Heavier than aluminum, maybe, I guess aluminum. And if, I need to pop off the emblem. Very carefully, comes over a little bump, and it's off. Didn't break the clip. Well, these pieces, these brackets, are aluminum, so you can't do too much to adjust them in the event the dash doesn't fit, or the angles have changed. So I'm gonna have to, man. Did you guys hear where that went? It's right over there behind the tripod. Didn't want to break the pin off for the emblem. And there it is right there. One more to go. Wiggle, wiggle. Did it again. It's 2 in a row, but we have it. Okay, here we have our complete Chrysler emblem. This one's not broken. let's keep it that way. I'm not going to put the clips onto those pins. It was fun enough to get them off this way, so we're going to leave that bag and tag all that and put it away. So as I was trying to say, these, we can't really flex and twist these into shape and hope that they look good. What we will do is make adjustments to the dash itself if we have to. We're not going to get into that right now. I promised you the stereo or radio. Here we have so 25 pounds worth of AM radio. This thing has vacuum tubes here, capacitors, a big ass transformer. See more vacuum tubes in there. They were experimenting with transistors at the time, but I don't know if it ever made it into the automotive arena at this point. And here's a fun fact. When I was a kid, I used to find old radios or people throwing them out, and I'd get them. And I'd go inside, adjust the vacuum tubes, change out a tube or two, and get them to work. That was my little hobby as a kid. Crazy, huh? TVs are a little more tricky because they had the flyback transformer, and you have to watch out for those. Not good to play with if you don't know what you're doing. This one here, it turns on, lights come on. I think I heard something crackling in the speaker, but didn't have an aerial, so that made a big difference. We will fool around with this later, but I will show you how that memory feature worked, making this a smart radio, before I take it all apart. I just want to remove the radio because it has a little bit of mass to it, and to try and hold the dash panel in place or fit it up with everything without weight, it could be a bit tricky. Let's put that screw back. Got a matte finish so that the reflections wouldn't get you in the eye. Oh, before I do that, I'm going to pull these dials off. Nice, all metal, no plastic, which means you can fix it, you can restore it, polish it. Let's see what else is holding the radio. I guess we'll know when it's loose. It'll come down with a thud. Aha. Two more nuts, bolts, nuts. Two more nuts. Nope, not quite. What is that? 9/16, larger. I see movement. There we go. And there we have our radio. And I guess we can handle that for weight. Put that aside. Just gonna put the knobs back on. Like that. And I'll show you how this radio potentially could work. It lights up and all that stuff, but I don't know if it gets any stations in. I'll have to go through and check it out. Hook up a speaker to it, an antenna, and go from there. But in the meantime, with this radio, it's actually pretty simple to use. You have your volume button, you've got your balance, right and left, you have an off button, and you have 5 pre-programmed station push buttons that you can automatically tune to while you're driving without having to turn the tuning dial here. You can see that arrow moving back and forth, the indicator. See that? It's kind of slipping a little bit there. It has to be gone over. You know, it's old. So, say I want to listen to 1050. It used to be my favorite oldie station. I tune to 1050, which is about there. I pull out whatever button, say this one here, and I push it back in, just like that. Now, If I change the dial to something else and I want to listen to 1050 because it's 10 o'clock and my favorite program's on, I just push that button there, the one I programmed, and automatically tunes to that station. Really cool, really smart. So there we go. We'll play with this later on, see if it works, get a speaker hooked up to it, get an antenna hooked up to it, and see what it says. Philco radio. Huh. Mopar, model 844. Yeah. More parts? Mopar? I don't know. They might have transistors in this one. They were transitioning during this era. They had vacuum tubes and transistors. So yeah, we'll take it apart, open it up, clean it up, and see what it tells us. To take and chop this out and put a navigation system in here, first it's going to look chopped out. Second, the navigation system is going to be so small you won't be able to see it. It's going to look funny. And I want to keep the dash as looking as original as possible, maintaining these switches and all that stuff. So that's essentially where we're going to go with this. I'm going to take these pieces and we're going to get them up inside the car and see how they fit, if anything needs to be adjusted. Because if you remember, I mentioned we laid back that windshield a bit, and it's not much, but it could change the way things sit. Well, it's Fabulous Fin Friday. Today, we're going to be welding these fins onto the back of the car. Finally, I know, yes, it's been long enough. We've been doing everything else but this, which is, I guess, the most important part. It really sets a car apart as a 56 Chrysler versus I can't tell what the heck you're building. All the metal's been prepped, inside, out, everything's been scribed, cleaned up, clamped. However, we've got a little issue on our hands at the moment that we need to work out as we're tacking the quarter panel in place. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Now close your left eye and sight down the side of this car. You see how this lower panel is coming in and then it comes out to pick up the top? There's a V in this panel. Let's see if we can get in this way. You kind of see it? Not really. Just back out here. Right there. That's about the best we can do. You can see it at the front there where that clamp is. The lower panel comes in and then it shoots out. And we can't have that. We have to have a nice curvature starting at the top and coming down to the bottom. This doesn't belong here. It's just a clamp. We had a pony clamp on here, basically holding, squeezing everything together. Got a good series of tacks and another helper. This board, we slid it in from the end to push that lower quarter panel section out, because once it's welded in that V formation, 9 times out of 10 you'll never work it out. Fun and games on this Fabulous Fin Friday. You see we've got the inner structure all worked in. That's done. Haven't gotten to the sail panels just yet. I want to get this back end on, and if we get up here, you can see we have a little bit of work to do in terms of joining the rear deck to the fins as well. But we'll start down here, get that in, and then we'll also have to blend in these this channel, the seal channel for the trunk. Okay, the different levels, we have to work that in, and then we'll have to accommodate for that in the trunk lid itself. Yeah, not today though, we'll do that later. This is the previous repair. We'll have to take and pull all this out. So this was basically done a foot at a time. Piece was formed up, installed, formed up, installed, formed up, installed, and then welded up. And the guy did the best he could with what he had, and that's fine. We're going to change that out, clean it up, so we have a nice consistent line. I don't want filler in here. Okay, let's drag the machine around and start getting a few tacks on here, working this in, and try and get this quarter panel welded up. Now before we jam that plywood into the end, I'm going to put a few tacks just to make sure that the panels don't slip apart, because it took quite a bit to get everything aligned nicely in terms of gaps. And once those tacks cool off, we'll take these clamps off, push this out with that piece of plywood backing down low enough so we're not burning into it, and put another series of tacks, smooth the panel out, make sure that there's no discontinuities between the two surfaces, and then weld it up. the sound, the difference now. It sounds a lot more solid. We haven't welded that yet. Alright guys, well we've got the quarter panel as one unit now. Now there's a little bit of work that has to be done in here yet. I was getting close with this bar, but my hand's not long enough. So we're gonna get a longer piece of, well I guess this 1/2 inch or 5/8 by 1 1/4 inch flat bar, slide it in here. One guy will hold it from one side, I'll hold it from this side, and we'll just touch up those little areas there, bring that out, and it's done. We'll do that though once the top is tied in, because right now it's flexing, see that? And it's throwing this curvature. We need to fill that bottom corner in. We'll take this out, replace this section from the inside, and that'll be done. It's really shaping up well. There was a dent up in here. I took it out, surprisingly, because that's quite a strong area. So something would have hit that pretty hard to create that depression. But that's all taken care of. I think next time we'll tackle these sail panels, create the structure from the inside, get the skin done on the outside, join that up so that's finished. And then we can work on tying all this in through here, as well as extending the fin. See, when you make a change, a significant change in one area, you can sure as heck expect that to translate to other areas. Like this dash panel. We're touching here at the back corner, but we have 1/2 inch space at the front where it meets up with this main section. All right. Let's get get some screws in. This. Okay, yeah. So you see this gap here? That's no good. We're touching here, gap there. That means that we can either cut this, we can bend it, or we can think about it. I'm gonna get that side in. This is what you call pre-assembly. Squeeze clamp. See, same gap. That's because we tilted the windshield surround rearward. Let's get this pad in. I was going to put the center section in, but it's kind of redundant because we can see exactly what we have here. There is a space, see right there, between that, there's a support structure in the back and that piece we just put in, so that's not good either. Not good in the sense that we need to do something about it. Right there, that's close. All the original stainless screws I went with a trim are all bagged and tagged, put away. I don't want to lose them or get mixed up in what we have here with the self-drilling, self-tapping, or whatever other fasteners we have. So I'm just using the same kind of screw. It's a Robertson head because I can get it on my impact driver, you know, just to make sure that we really get the screw in nice and tight. I'm kidding. Okay, you see, we're going to do something with this dash too, because this pad actually comes in from the front with the windshield out. I think that's kind of weird. You should be able to repair or do what you want with your dash pad without having to pull the glass out. So we're going to make that change with this pad. I was going to keep this original top. I guess it's a leather top, but it hasn't cracked yet, and that's really why I didn't want to change it. We might make an adjustment in this area, either bend these legs down or very gently warm it up, peel the leather off, cut the metal back, and then roll it down. Now getting back to where we were here. All right, that's supposed to sit right there. And you see, it kind of naturally wants to sit up where it used to sit. I don't have any fasteners in, but right there. We have 1/2 inch space here. We have 1/2 inch space there, as well as on the end, which means, you know what? I'm going to make one more change. That's your emergency brake. I'm going to leave that there. We're going to do one more thing. I'm going to throw the gauges, at least one gauge in here, and see how that looks. Because I think if we make an adjustment on the ends, we can just get by the skin of our teeth and have the gauge sit roughly where they used to sit, factory location, factory angle, and have this meet up here. We're kind of splitting the difference. This came down, yes, but we have a 1/2 inch gap there, so by the time that comes up, it should be really close. Gauge. I did put these away earlier, but we need it. So they used to sit like that, amps down below. Left the little pigtails on, so it kind of interfering. So I can't really push it down all the way because there's that support bracket and right there. So that's not too bad. Got to slide in a little bit further, but that doesn't look too bad for angle. So I think that's what we're going to do. By the time that gets squeezed up, that's going to return back to the proper angle you need. These gauges actually sat lower than line of sight too, so they weren't really up here like on modern cars. I think that's going to work right there. When that gets squeezed up, we'll be back to almost where we were from the factory. Okay, so that brings us to what we can do or what we need to do in this area here. Let's get rid of the gauge. No longer need it. And let's lift this dash pad up and out of the way. Come on. All right. Excuse me. So what we can do is we can cut it, and well, then we got to weld it, we got to finish it and all that stuff. What I'm going to try and do is, well, I'll show you. I'd like everyone to meet Jack. We get rid of this for now. See, being metal, we can bend it. And if it doesn't do what we need it to do, we can unbend it. Once you cut it, well, you'd have to re-weld it, put a piece in, and just, you know, snowballs. I'm going to brace this up in here with something. Glad we got the floors in, nice solid floors. Can get something in here and lift it up. See what happens. I know when I lift this flange angle is going to change, so we'll have to correct that. Wow, look at that. Why am I doing that? When I can do this. Save a few minutes. Let's push further in. I don't want to bend just a tip, I want to bend this corner so that this end comes up. That's close. Give the metal a little bit of a stretch. See what I mean about this flange? It's rolling up. Okay, as long as that doesn't spring, we should be okay. I've gone up a little bit past due to spring back. That's when metal springs back to its original location once returned back to where it was. And now we need to take and roll this flange down so that it's level again and mates up with the dash panel. Would you guys mind handing me that dolly and hammer over there? Yeah, just to your left. Thank you very much. Notice there's some waves in here. I don't know if somebody bent it themselves or what, but while we're at it, we'll fix it. Let's see how much spring back there is. Let's leave that there. Well, not bad, but I hear other things creaking, which is to be expected. Okay, we have a bit of a flange issue right there. Wow, ain't that nice? I don't know why this edge is so wavy. Oops, come on. I think we got it. I really don't know how. My screw head is too small. I'm going to see if I can find a larger screw, just slightly larger, or get a washer under there. You can see how much force I'm exerting. Nothing really. Just running the screw in. I'm not bearing down on it. Okay, that's quite nice there. Lines up with our A-pillar. That's really good here. I should bring that out. Out, I said out. I don't want to apply vice grips to this because I don't want to break it. Now I can use that old screw we had. Oh, look at that, guys. Yeah, now looking as to why that top flange was so wavy, it looked unnatural, but there's a reason why they did that. See how it's bossed up on this dash panel? That boss has to sit in a bit of a depression. So we need to recreate that depression by bending this area from here to here, up here, upward, and that'll tighten up the gap. So there's a reason why it was done that way. We're not going to straighten out that side. All we're going to do is roll that up, just like we did here. I know it seems really simple. I'm not looking to complicate things. You see, we bent that up, didn't have to cut it. Didn't have to cut very much if we did. And this technically doesn't have to sit level. That's fine. That's going to go up inside that area. But before I say that, or I should actually try that before I say that. So let's lower the dash pad back in place. And if this all sits the way it needs to, then we'll go ahead and do that side. It's really easy to cut things up, as you saw. To build it, it takes a little more. Look at that. Now that screw is pushing up on the pad, dash pad. It's a little bit, there we go. Okay, let's leave it like that. Split the difference, get the screw out a little bit. This is staying in place, almost. It dropped down maybe a 1/16 of an inch, not a big deal, but we get the idea. The pad is sitting very well, and I'll show you how nice this gap turned out to be here. That screw's pushing up on that area as well, so that's okay. The original screws are a little bit shorter, and there we have it. See the gap? It increases a little bit where that screw pushes up on the pad, but otherwise we're good until we get to that point. So we're going to ask Jack really nice to move over there and help us out with some metal bending for that corner. I'm not a big fan of cutting things apart. But if we have to, we'll do it. It's all part of the process. I think we're going to try it there. I should have taken the dimension off of that side. By the time I get there, I'll have this done. The only thing we have to do is roll this flange up a little bit. That won't work. Well, that is, as they say, spot on. If anything, oh, right there, we're a little bit high. Haha. Don't have any more screws. Well, that's looking quite nice. We're going to leave it at that. There we go, just settled into place. The clamp was torquing the panel the wrong way, so we're good to go. Yeah. Okay, that's good. Let's just drop this dash pad back in its place to get a good look. Watch my teeth on that. There we go. Nice. I want to make the modifications so that we don't have to pop that windshield out if I want to do anything with the dash later on. The top of the dash is sealed. There's no access in behind the gauges. I might change that. But then again, it adds a lot of strength by having a solid panel. And yet, to work on the gauges, to come in from under here, a little more challenging. So we might actually do that where we make an access panel just above the gauges so that you can work on it after you pull the dash pad out. It might mean taking some chrome off and whatever, but it sure beats taking out the windshield. I'm really happy as to how this all came out. By just taking a step back, looking at the situation, instead of jumping in and cutting, we were able to determine that we could just bend up those corners and get this thing done without too much hassle. And let's give Jack a round of applause for all his help by clicking like. Thanks, Jack. Now, before we wrap up, I'm going to throw this gauge back in, just because it looks so cool. I like that. It's got to sit a little further in, but we get the idea. Like that. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, give us a thumbs up. If you're new to our channel, hit that subscribe button. It helps us out a lot, helps our channel grow. Until next time, take care. Now say bye to the people, Jack.
Bye, people.